I really like Hatz, and you're about to find out why. If you're an anime-only watcher, don't worry, because the first half of this video is going to be entirely on season 1 of the anime. If you're a webtoon reader, that's going to be the second half of the video, you're good. Hatz is a character who was introduced to us pretty much right off the bat, episode 2 of the anime, and I think episode 7 of the webcomic, or chapter 7, and he's just so cool. He uses swords, he's a swordsman, he's got this like cool Eastern style outfit. It's really, really dope. And the cool thing about Hatz is the fact that he's introduced with a knock, and we see that he's really strong. He fights on par with her, they recognize each other's strength, it's cool. And of course, as we go on with the crown game and the hide and seek test, he constantly shows us that there's a reason why he continues to pass these tests and climb the tower. He is pretty strong and very talented, you know, and super badass. I absolutely love the way he acts, and the voice we gave him in the dub, Kuya does a fantastic job.
Since the moment I was born, my hands were trained to hold the sword. Bastard. I never let go of whatever I've got in my hands.
But the reason why I really like Hatz, you know, he's cool, he looks awesome, swords, cool. The reason why I love Hatz is the fact that he is so talented, and he came from basically nothing. With all these other strong characters in season 1, there's always a reason why they're so strong, or they have some kind of background. For example, in Dorsey, alright, she's a princess of Jihad, that explains why she's so powerful. Obviously, she herself also has a lot of innate skill, that's why she was chosen to be a princess, but it makes sense. There's a reason behind her strength. Same for Anak, you know, she only has 50% of the power of Jihad, but she's still very strong, especially with the Green April. She's very talented, makes sense. Even characters like Kun and Bomb, you know, there's a reason why they are so talented. I mean, Kun's from one of the 10 great families, you know, and we see how fast he is in the crown game. He doesn't need to be a light bearer. And of course, Bomb is an irregular, and he's a very talented one at that. Even if he isn't right off the bat, he has a lot of potential. And then we have Hatz, who, okay, there's also Rack and people like that, but there's Hatz. And Hatz he didn't come from one of the 10 great families. He's not a princess of Jihad. That's a funny picture. Hatz is the son of a blacksmith. Hatz grew up honing his swords, playing with swords, practicing with his swords, and became really talented and good at it. Highest flying sword, ghost fish slash whatever. That's how Hatz, that's Hatz. That didn't make any sense. The fact that Hatz is able to hang around these people and be on par with all these incredible people, you know, literally fight alongside Anak and against Anak, pretty much on the same skill level until she unleashes the Green April, that says so much. The fact that Hatz is almost as talented without the Green April as, you know, a princess of Jihad, give or take, there's a lot of arguments about power levels, but that is amazing. And that only continues on as the story continues. That's why I like Hatz. He doesn't give up when he fights Quant. You know, he was defeated, and yet he used his smarts, his other tricks to defeat Quant. He grabbed him, you know, he countered on his teammates, that failed. But there's so much to his character, like aside from just being really cool and really strong. I love the fact he came from nothing, basically, and is such a powerhouse. Like, that's a highlight of his character. We can see in season 1 as well, he's a bit of a tsundere, kind of like Anak actually. Him and Anak are very similar, which is why sometimes they disagree, but sometimes they get along, whatever, even if they don't tell each other. But what I like is that he does actually care about everybody. So in the anime, this isn't actually the same thing, but in the webcomic, in the finale of Tower of God, I think it's chapter 75, the finale of our dub, Hatz is the one to suggest that they bring Rachel up the tower. And what does this mean? It means that Hatz was one of the most broken, but he was one of the characters that was the most broken by hearing the news of Bomb's death. You know, Shibisu was depressed. Kun was very depressed. Obviously, it affected Kun the most. And Dorsey was depressed, Rack was depressed. You know, and Dorsey wouldn't even leave her room, right? Which they cut out of the anime. Don't ask me why. But Hatz he's going through the stages of grief. We see his anger at Pericule for being like, oh, whatever, did we pass? We see his denial, not in this order, and then we see him accept it, by saying, guys, let's bring Rachel up the tower for Bomb. Hatz, my boy, is the one to suggest that. Not Kun, not even Shibisu, right? Or Dorsey, it's Hatz. Hatz is like, guys, let's do this in honor of our beloved friend.
Hey, guys, I want to suggest something. Aren't we all in debt to Bomb?
The anime did a great job handling these characters, but that's something I wish they had like been more consistent with. That's still there, but like you don't get that same feeling because they changed a lot of it. It's not quite the same. So it's amazing. Like what Hatz brings to the table is much more than just being a swordsman, you know? So those are just a couple reasons why I love Hatz. I'm gonna go into Webtoon spoiler territory now just to discuss the character more. If you're an anime-only watcher, click away. I mean, I'm not gonna be talking about that many spoilers, but it's still, don't do it. Come on, you can do this. Stay strong. All right, so Hatz in season 2 onward, he just gets more badass. Like, you guys know what I'm talking about. You know, I liked his outfit in season 1. It was cool, but he gets that jacket. You know, the black and red jacket. Dude, that, like, Hatz went from being the young boy with, like, the really young guy with the swords who was really cool, to a supreme badass man. Like, Hatz matured, dude. Like, out of most of the characters, maybe aside from Bomb, Hatz grows up, dude. And then eventually, I think, Name Hunt Station, right? He gets the robe. Man, okay, yeah. I fanboy over Hatz a lot when I'm reading. In a purely bro way, of course. A lot of characters in season 2 don't get as much screen time, but Hatz actually gets quite a bit in season 2 as opposed to characters like Anak. He has some cool fights. He fights Shiliel Jihad. I think that's really cool. I just reread that moment and that's really hype. You know, they don't really fight that much, sadly, because Shibisu interferes, but it's still pretty awesome that he, again, fights a princess and shows that he is capable of that, which is super awesome. But he also fights Kun, which is amazing. Like, the Kun versus Hatz fight shows you that if Shibisu, Anak, and Hatz had stayed in the crown game, they would have won, man. They would have won. Like, their team was the strongest one there. And if you don't believe me, if you argue against that, you're wrong. I'm just kidding. If there's enough people who are actually against that, maybe I'll make a whole video on that, who would have won the crown game. I honestly think that they are the strongest team. But yeah, the whole thing with Hatz and Kasano, and Hatz talking about how he trained every single day. That's how he was able to fight Kasano more. And I really like it. He's always chilling there with Shibisu. Even season 3, he's had some screen time. I do think he needs a little bit more, and I actually think he's gonna get it, because recently in season 3, we've seen White and Hatz kind of communicate a little bit. Where White's like, hey, you're a swordsman too, right? And he's like, he says something like, you're using your sword wrong, or like, he gives him a swordsman speech. And it's like, White and Hatz? Like, it's really awesome. And I feel like that could give us a hint that it's something that could happen in the future. Maybe the two of them are gonna, I mean, I don't know, who knows? But like, I want more moments like that, and I do believe it's gonna happen. I think Hatz is going to continue to grow, and his character is going to expand even more. I hope it's not just like, hey, I'm in the background with Shibisu. I want Shibisu, Anak, Hatz, Laro, all these characters, and Dorsey to show up again and contribute to the story in a meaningful way. And I trust SIU that he will make that happen. But regardless, I love Hatz for all those reasons. Badass fights, badass design that continues to get better and better in my opinion. And I love his motivations. I love that he's able to be with all these people, even though he's just a guy, you know? He's a guy who really likes swords. I love that he continues to climb the tower with swords, even though it's like not very beneficial because of the Shinsu. Like, he's just a super neat character that has actually a lot more going for him than just, oh, he's super cool. And I think in my top 10 video, I put him at number 10. He's at least top 10 for me. I think Hatz is one of the most awesome characters in Tower of God. And that's why I love Hatz. If there's other reasons that I missed, if you love Hatz for other reasons, let me know in the comments down below, because let's be real, we all love Hatz. Thanks a lot for watching. If you enjoyed, I'd appreciate a like on the video. And if you want to watch more Tower of God content, definitely subscribe, because we try to make at least 2 or 3 videos on on Tower of God every single week, and we also upload daily here on the channel. So thanks once again. I will see you guys in my next Tower of God discussion video. Take care.